Hello, everyone, and welcome back to History Uncovered. I'm Alex, your guide through the twists and turns of history.
And I'm Jordan. Today, we're diving into a pivotal moment in Cold War history, the Bay of Pigs invasion. Codenamed Operation Zapata, this operation is often remembered as one of the most disastrous military endeavors in U.S. history.
Absolutely, Jordan. We'll explore how a group of Cuban exiles, trained and supported by the CIA, attempted to overthrow Fidel Castro's regime in April 1961, only to face catastrophic failures.
It's a story filled with ambition, miscalculations, and the stark realities of international politics. So let's set the stage for this ill-fated operation.
Just before midnight on April 16, 1961, 5 transport vessels dropped anchor off the coast of Cuba, ready to launch their assault.
The would-be liberators, clad in camouflage and armed for battle, were shocked to see lights along the shoreline.
They had been led to believe they would land in a deserted area, but here they were, facing a well-lit beach which was anything but deserted. Frogmen clumsily scrambled into rubber boats to place guidance beacons for the assault force.
Against orders, American instructors accompanied the teams as they laid the markers. They opened fire on a jeep moving up the beach, which caused the shore lights to vanish, plunging the operation into chaos.
Exactly. Wild shooting broke out from both the attackers and local militia hiding among the palms. Jose Perez Pepe Romain, one of the operation's Cuban commanders, was on a transport ship urging his men forward.
Romain was a former army officer who had been imprisoned by the old regime. He understood the stakes and even handed over $35,000 in cash to an American for safekeeping, just in case things went south.
When he finally made it to shore, he kissed the sand dramatically, but his arrival was far smoother than that of most invaders. Many boats got stuck on coral reefs, and some men were lost at sea.
By 5:30 a.m. on April 17th, the landing schedule was completely off track. One infantry battalion was still stuck on a transport, along with all their ammunition.
The invaders had been assured they would land unopposed and that Castro would take 72 hours to respond. Instead, they faced a well-prepared militia firing furiously at them.
They were also told that the Cuban Air Force would be neutralized by their own planes. However, the renegade flyers couldn't inflict decisive damage, and the Cuban forces quickly retaliated.
By 7 a.m., the Cuban Air Force began attacking the invasion flotilla. The consequences were catastrophic, with ships like the Houston and the Rio Escondido suffering devastating hits.
Meanwhile, the paratroops who landed inland found themselves lost in swamps, and many were quickly overwhelmed. The chaos on the beaches mirrored their confusion.
As the hours passed, it became clear that the exiles were doomed. Instead of sparking a mass uprising, the locals turned against them, shouting for their execution.
The surviving transport ships sailed away to save themselves, leaving the remnants of the invaders to their fate. The world would come to know this disastrous event as the Bay of Pigs.
However, the Cuban people chose to remember it as Playa Girón, a name that holds significance on the island to this day. President JFK had inadvertently granted Castro a priceless victory.
To understand the Cuban Missile Crisis that followed in 1962, we need to look back at the events of April 1961. Operation Zapata had been conceived over a year earlier under President Eisenhower.
Frustrated with Castro's taunts, Eisenhower authorized the CIA to train an expeditionary force made up of Cuban exiles. One of the first recruits was Manuel Artime, a devout Catholic eager to fight back.
Artime and others were flown to training camps in Panama and Guatemala. The CIA initially envisioned a guerrilla force, but soon realized that a conventional invasion was necessary.
They believed that a force of 5,000 men could overthrow Castro, an underestimation that would soon prove disastrous.
By November 1960, the training camp held 430 recruits, and the brigade was designated 2506. John F. Kennedy was briefed on the invasion plan shortly after taking office.
He was eager to show strength against communism, especially after the CIA's previous successes in Guatemala. However, the invasion was poorly planned and executed.
Despite the president's assurances that no American forces would participate, many believed that once they landed, the U.S. would intervene to support them.
Pepe San Romain even noted that the Cubans trusted the Americans more than their own leadership, which was a dangerous misconception.
The failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion not only solidified Castro's power, but also set the stage for future U.S.-Cuba relations, culminating in the Missile Crisis.
It was a lesson in the complexities of intervention and the dangers of underestimating an opponent. The cultural arrogance of the U.S. played a significant role in the operation's failure.
Operation Zapata remains a stark reminder of the consequences of misguided military interventions and the importance of understanding local dynamics.
Join us next time on History Uncovered as we explore the aftermath of the Bay of Pigs and its implications for U.S. foreign policy. Thanks for listening.
Stay curious and keep exploring history with us.
See you next time.